Yeah, it didn't take long to see the order and figure out we were going from bottom to top. Absolutely, you know, it was a rough season for us last year. We were very close in a lot of situations and came up short. You know, stability and consistency has been something that, for me, going into our fourth season, we still haven't been able to accomplish. We're going to go through it again this year. I have 100% new offensive coaching staff once again. We have a new athletic trainer. We have a new strength conditioning coach. So as much as we've tried to grow the program and tried to create some stability and some consistency, it just hasn't been there. So with that being said, we had probably the best offseason that we've had in my tenure there this year. Our strength conditioning program, like I said, we have a new strength conditioning coach in. Our guys are better prepared physically. I think we have a better team atmosphere. You know, our facility that we've moved into allows us to really spend more time together as a team. We were very spread out. It was kind of a weird situation before. So there's a lot of great things going on. But absolutely, I said to Coach Riston earlier before we started, you know, sitting up here right now reminds you of those guys that are 3 days into T-shirts and shorts and out there on the football field, and that's certainly where we want to be.
Coach Young, you opened September 6th against Eastern New Mexico. I believe this is your fourth season as head coach. Obviously, you got some replacements, so you need a new quarterback this year, among other things, and what do you see as some of your goals for 2014?
Well, as you said, Eastern New Mexico for us, that's been our opener since I've been here. We've had success in that game, and that's a squad down there that's getting better. So we've got to continue to grow ourselves to be able to come out of that game with a victory, as we've been able to do the last few years. There's a lot of questions on our roster right now. You know, we had a senior-heavy group. I think that's one of the things that made last season so difficult for us emotionally. We had high expectations. This year, there's a lot more questions. All through that offense and on the defensive side of the ball. Our expectations are simply that our guys compete each and every day. We feel like we've got the talent, as we generally do, to create issues each and every week for our opponents. Now it's to get about playing together as a team, finishing, competing each and every snap, regardless of what the scoreboard says. And we'll get an opportunity to do that, as you said, September 6th, and continue to grow from there. A lot of growth that's going to have to happen each and every week with this young squad.
Coach Young, you also have some new coaches on your staff. Anybody familiar with New Mexico football probably recognizes the name Chase Holbrook, who was the quarterback in Mexico State a few years ago that set a lot of records, and I believe he's your new offensive coordinator.
Yes, as I said earlier, we have a 100% new offensive staff. Chase Holbrook, our offensive coordinator, again, made his name as a quarterback for Coach Mummy down there with the Aggies a number of years ago, came to us from McMurray most recently. And you know, we're really excited about that. You know, it doesn't change a great deal in terms of our scheme and in terms of what we've done in the past. Even though we're looking for a new starting quarterback this year, we got a couple of guys in our program that have been in this system for at least 2 years now. So some consistency again there, at least with the style of play, was important to me, making that hire. And with Chase coming in and his wife Robin, who's from New Mexico, it's a great tie. It's a great opportunity for those two to get back into New Mexico and get back into a position where their family can be around, and they're excited to be here. And that's been a difficult thing sometimes for us. Again, with that consistency is bringing in folks that want to be there, that are willing to be there for an extended period of time, and Chase is certainly excited to start calling those plays. With that, we've added, as I said, an entire new staff. Brought in Clayton Johnson, our offensive line coach, most recently from Fresno State. He's a guy that's got a lot of experience both at the junior college level and at the Division I level, which we feel fits well in terms of the style of roster that we have. Probably one of the guys we're most excited about is Kenny Jackson, who's been our wide receiver coach my first 2 years at Highlands. Left and went out to Carney last season, and we were able to get him back. He also handles our special teams. So for Coach Jackson to rejoin us was a very big deal. He's only been back in town about a week or so now, but that's big for us. And then to finish up that offensive side of the ball. Tony Pavlik, who's coached our defensive line the last 3 years, has been with me from the start, is moving over to work with the running backs to complete that offensive staff. So changes in terms of the people, the faces, the coaches that are going to be on that side of the ball, but our systems and the way we do things we expect to be largely the same. And there's a lot of experience over there, and that was something we struggled with at times last year, experience in the coaching staff for us to be able to mentor these young men. And so I think we got a great group over there that can take advantage of the skill that we'll have on that side of the ball.
Patrick, you were number 3 in the nation in punting last year, which I think was also number 3 in the RMAC in punting, which shows the quality of punting we have in the conference. You've been named preseason All-American by the Sporting News and Lindy's, but I know you were looking at the sheet there just now. You're not preseason All-Conference in the RMAC, but I imagine that's probably a little bit of a motivator for you.
Yeah, it's going to give me some motivation. I mean, I feel a lack of respect, and then I got to go get the respect. So I got to work hard this season and do what I can do and get the respect of the conference. So,
as a guy who has been on the team, seen some highs, seen some lows, what needs to happen this year for Highlands to get back to the point where they were 2 years ago?
We just need to come together as a team. That was our biggest problem last year, is we had too many guys that were just into themselves and not team players. They didn't want to be working with us. They just kind of want to do their own thing and worry about their own stats. So as long as we come together as a team and follow what the coach's plans are, we can have a big season.
What kind of plan or what kind of goals do you have for yourself this year?
Goals is basically just continue with what I did last season. I mean, I moved up from when I started 2 years ago. I moved my average up a couple of yards, and the goal is to move it up again if I can, and hopefully finish at number 1 if I can. I mean, just got to work and see what I can do throughout the season. So that's the goal for now.
I'd like to open it up now for questions for Coach Young and for Patrick Carney.
Coach, you said best offseason since you've been there. Is it numbers or participation or attitude? What made it better?
I think a lot of it is the attitude. Our numbers are actually down, and as we move into practice in about a week, we're going to be a little shorter on our roster this year in terms of numbers than we've been the last couple of years, and that's intentional this time. We feel like we've done a better job in evaluation of the incoming players. We feel like we weeded out a few guys, as Patrick said, that maybe didn't fit the team and fit what we were trying to do as a program. We were a little bit, with that being said, we were a little bit lighter in our offseason in terms of numbers. But it was a group of guys that was ready to compete, was ready to work. Like I said, the strength and conditioning program, we had our best academic semester that we've had since I've been there, so team GPA was as high as it's been. So, all those sorts of things that kind of show the quality of individual that we have in our program right now, and obviously starting with some stronger individual pieces hopefully can turn us into a team that can understand the big picture and work together. Again, it was a fun group to work with. There was really very limited issues in terms of discipline, and even the simple things like just getting guys to show up on time. Things like that. If you're not asking guys to come to work, they want to be there. That certainly makes every coach in the room optimistic about his opportunities when you've got a group of guys that wants to compete, wants to be part of the program. And again, the gains made in the weight room, the gains made in the classroom. We feel good about that group returning, and obviously now that builds a foundation for the incoming guys to fall in line, if you will, and become part of something that could be very special if it clicks.